This video was made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Welcome to our new patrons, Jose Tamayo, Isaias Coronado, and Alexander Schroeder. Visit our Patreon page and vote for next week's video.
Westbound 501, please check in. Please report westbound 501. What is your position?
The simple things in life are often the best. One of the main reasons why Speed succeeds as an action movie is the premise. It may just be the most straightforward premise ever put in a movie.
There's a bomb on a bus. Once the bus goes 50 miles an hour, the bomb is armed. If it drops below 50, it blows up.
The hook is brutally simple, but it works. It provides just enough framework to deliver non-stop action without ever putting the audience through a dull moment. Today we'll examine what makes Speed different from other action movies, and why it remains so effective almost 25 years later, and how another film successfully adopted its explosive structure and achieved greatness.
It was hard to know who was more crazy, me or everyone else.
Keanu Reeves is a big reason why this movie succeeds. He's so awesome in this movie. He plays this stock character cop named Jack Traven who either has a giant death wish or is the greatest adrenaline junkie ever. It's hard to make an argument for the writing of his personality in this movie, or against the fact that he's cliché. Keanu Reeves is also arguably not a good actor.
Ma'am, you did very well. Actually, you were incredible. I've never seen driving like that.
It seems like in the 90s he always played the same dude he played in Point Break.
I am an FBI agent!
But he always delivers exactly the right amount of intensity and dedication that his roles seem to be tailor-made for his particular talents.
Whoa.
This role is perfect for him. And Sandra Bullock, who was unknown at the time, shares a pretty good on-screen chemistry with him. She plays this quirky girl who lost her license and just happens to know how to drive a bus.
Oh my god.
Dennis Hopper as the Mad Bomber is, pretty mad. And the banter between Jeff Daniels and Keanu is the best dialogue in the movie.
Will the Mr. Guest please sign in? What?
But the real key to this movie's success is Jan de Bont's energetic direction. The film opens with a tremendous 20-minute set piece inside a building, which serves the purpose of setting up the main characters and the explosive tone of the film. After this introduction, we get a few moments to breathe and get to know the characters a little bit better.
Sam!
But as soon as Jack boards that bus, the pacing of the movie becomes relentless and never stops until the film's conclusion. And here is where Speed excels. The movie is structured in a way that feels like a literal non-stop thrill ride. Out of the 116-minute runtime, about 76 minutes are dedicated to the bomb on the bus situation, which is sandwiched by two shorter 20-minute sequences. Each of these sequences have little sub-sequences within them, with small moments that make each situation a little bit more complicated. A normal dramatic structure usually consists of exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and the finale. Speed uses this as well, but the structure is ramped up to deliver maximum impact. So as the film approaches its climax, each sequence has its own little structure with its own climax. Let's take the primary bomb on the bus sequence as an example. The entire sequence can be divided into 4 smaller sub-sequences, each more exciting than the last as the movie approaches its natural climax. Let's explore 2 of the sub-sequences with the awesome score of the movie to further illustrate this point.
There's enough C4 on this thing to put a hole in the world.
Officer!
Mac, you gotta get me out of here!
They're gonna lead you to the 105 freeway.
I can't make that turn!
You can make it. We have an injured man here. The driver's been shot.
Jack, don't slip.
I can't be here.
This freeway is finished.
Florida.
Notice how every small climax gets more exciting than the last as the film approaches the sequence climax. The film then gives us some time to relax until it continues to build to the explosive finale. Tiny bits of character development are sprinkled throughout, and since the viewer never knows what the next surprise might be, the film is entertaining as hell. The title does say it all. Speed is a huge adrenaline rush. Its reason to exist is simply to entertain, and it does that remarkably well. Compared to today's standards, the characters may seem a little bit generic.
Hey, shut up, man. I got a wife.
The dialogue kinda cheesy.
Oh no.
But it still stands the test of time and proves to be competent to this day as an action movie. It also provided the dynamic framework of the non-stop thrill ride that Mad Max Fury Road adopted.
I am the one who runs from both the living and the dead.
Which made that film one of the best action movies of the decade so far, if not the best. Fury Road shares some notable similarities with Speed. The secondary female character is in charge of driving a vehicle filled with innocent people, and if said vehicle stops, they all die. But the main similarity that we see here is that both movies share the same ramped up explosive structure. Mad Max Fury Road is basically a 2-hour chase sequence, and just like Speed, it has a few sub-sequences within that sequence, each more intense than the last. The movie delivers in the few spots where Speed does not. Actual character development takes place as the film progresses, and whereas Speed rarely gives us a moment to breathe, Fury Road takes its time to develop an original world and interesting characters. As the film reaches its epic climax, an almost 2-hour long buildup of the non-stop thrill ride reaches its conclusion. Both Speed and Mad Max Fury Road are great movies that have defined a decade of solid action. Their success might just be related to this particular story structure that gives us an incredible adrenaline rush from the moment the movie starts to the very last moment of each film. They have become landmarks in the action movie genre, and it's only a matter of time to see which new movie will join them in history on the Fury Road.